Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I apologize for my tardiness. I was getting some last minute things set up, getting my kids off to their summer school and summer camps and getting all that going. So I apologize. But good morning. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, my name is Tyler. I'm really glad that you decided to join us. And we're going to be having a good time today. We are switching contracts. Today, if you look on the top right corner on NQU 2025, you're going to want to switch over. If you want to make sure that our charts are matching, I can almost guarantee you that somebody in the chart today is going to say, my chart doesn't look the same as yours. What's wrong? What did I do? That is why we are on the new contracts for today. That is NQU 2025. So with that, if you're looking to take your trading to the next level, make sure you switch contracts or you're not going to get anywhere. And number two is if you can use the code DTJ, and DTJ is going to give you the most updated discount that all these different prop firms are offering. Take Profit Traders is 30%, Apex is 80%, Tradeify is 30% or 40% off your first Tradeify account. You can use that code. It will always give you the most updated discount that is currently being offered. And with that, let's go ahead and do the most important portion of our day, committing this time to the Lord, and then we will take a look at the charts and see what is in store. So good morning. So Father, we honor you. We thank you for your goodness, for your faithfulness. Lord, I just pray that as we come into a new week, you would show yourself faithful this week. Lord, that we would learn the lessons we need to learn, that we would grow as we need to grow, Father, and we would draw closer to you. Lord, I pray a blessing over everyone here, that they would see increase in their trading, increase in their personal relationships and their relationship with you. In Jesus' name, everyone hit the like button and said amen. If you can agree with that prayer, in Jesus' name, amen. Hallelujah. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, Matthew, my word, Alan, Jody, Marcella, Jeff, John, Caleb, Mike, Muzi, Octavian, John, thank you for the Psalms 35. That's a good one. Nicolo, Tony, good morning. Kara, how are you? Glad to have you all this morning. It's going to be a good time. Let's go ahead and jump out. If you haven't make sure you jump into NQU. That is the September contract, and we're going to start out on the weekly time frame. We don't have that much time, so we're going to fly through this pretty quickly. We're going to start on the monthly. Make sure you mark your highs and your lows from your previous month. Okay, boom, boom. And then you should also drag out your midpoint. You're going to want to do the same thing for the weekly time frame. As you can see here, I did the same thing for the previous week. See that right there? Previous week high, previous week low, and the midpoint of the week. We have reached up already into last week's midpoint. Okay, this is going to be key on if we move higher or if we're going to sell off. We'll see what happens. On the daily, same thing. Previous day high, day low, and midpoint. We've ran through the previous day midpoint or previous day's midpoint. We got equal lows that were created on Friday. And then if you're looking at these lines over here, these are on the daily time frame, the quadrants from a swing high to a swing low. We haven't hit that swing low or high or the midpoint of it, so I anticipate us kind of making our way down here, especially with those equal lows intact. Dropping down to the hourly, we've made our way up here without running the previous PM session high. This is our PM session high from Friday. I wouldn't mind seeing that ran in a sell-off if I had to put a narrative in place. That seems attractive. I don't know if we're going to quite get that. 2 minutes till open. 15-minute time frame, we have this 15-minute fair value gap that stands out to me. We'll see how price wants to deal with that. That is a BISI. And there we go. Yes, Jody, I'll explain that later. Just remind me. All right, we got 1 minute till the market opens. I do like the idea of the 930 model this morning. We've ran pretty close to previous day highs. Maybe if it doesn't reach into the 15-minute, well, there's the 15-minute, never mind. This, we do have move a potential for a market maker sell model. That's interesting. And we do have a smaller breaker on the 1 minute chart right here. So I like the movement so far, potentially seeing it want to move lower. Goodbye, Benjamin. You're not taking that, no. Nobody's taking that. All right, we're going to see if we get a little bit of a sell-off here with the 930 model. We'll see if that happens. Or if it wants to pump right back up pretty quickly, we'll see. There's a tap into the breaker and that fair value gap. Okay, 930 model didn't play out. See it run that level there. And then here's PM session high. We'll see if it wants to reach for that. Previous day high is sitting up here. We have a minor internal swing high sitting right about there. Jody, I'll answer that right now. You have to change over because we are trading what's called the futures. So we were previously trading the June contract. Well, the June contract is no longer in the future. So to trade the futures contract, when we hit the current contract's month, we switch over to the next upcoming month. In this case, it's September. So September is represented by the U. So we move our contract, or we switch to the NQU contract which is representing September, and so now we are trading the futures again. That is where all the orders are going to lie, meaning that all the volume is going to leave the June contracts and the volume is going to move into the futures contract for September. And that's why we want to do it, because we want to actually trade where people are trading. If we're not, our orders won't be filled. Our orders could not be gotten out. If we want to close a trade or take a trade, it could be illiquid. So we want to avoid that if we can. So PM session high sweep with a nice large bearish candle with a big wick into those levels. We'll see if it wants to hold and continue higher. I'm not interested in any pump or dump at the moment because we swept this high right here, and I'm going to sit on my hands for about 15 minutes. You have to adjust your charts. Nothing is on the new contracts. So I had to re-put all of those levels. Every time we switch a new contract, you need to add all the new levels that you want to track. So if you track new day opening gaps, you want to make sure you add them. I did not. I just put the current week's new week opening gap on, and that is all that I have on my charts right now. Matthew, if you're off by 300 points, you might want to check. Like I said, we're on the new contracts today. The only other thing, if you're moved over already, the current high of day is 22,334.75. I need to switch ES as well. I always do this wrong. I've already marked out our London low. Our London low is sitting right here. And I didn't mark it correctly. That's London low. London high has already been grabbed. And the previous PM session high for ES is right there. And we haven't grabbed that yet. We have our first presented fair value gap at 931. We don't count 930. At least I wouldn't count it for today. It is a large one. Maybe we do count that. But price was respecting that first presented fair value gap more than it was respecting this one. I say that because all of the bodies closed above that first presented fair value gap, and now we're pushing higher. Previous day high is probably in the targets here. We'll mark this minor swing side, buy side liquidity, sitting right here. It's going to look a little empty as we look left because we're on the new contracts. Right now it's fine, but you won't be able to trade the old contract in a few days. I'm pretty sure they closed them. But you can also trade the futures contracts of, you could trade September's contract of 2026, which has very little volume on it, and people try to find strategies by trading the very distant future contract. We're not trading that. We're just trading the next the closest contract because that's where most of the volume is at. What's up, Patrick? USD and Nasdaq, typically it should be an inverse relationship. When they're inversed, that's a good thing. When they're not, there's something going on. But I haven't been able to effectively master the correlation between the dollar and Nasdaq. I've done a better job with ES, so that's what I stick with right now. Hang on, folks. Better first gap on ES. I see that, yeah. All right, so let's kind of filter through some of these time frames, see if we can put anything together that might be helpful. We swept this 4-hour high, which was the PM session high of yesterday. We have our previous day high, which I think that could be our draw on liquidity. But as you can see how overlapping the price is, it's just telling me not to mess around with price right now. So I'm not going to. And we will wait. We will do our daily affirmation here shortly. Back down to the hourly. Just kind of a grind higher, and we're watching these levels here. Okay, there's our push higher. Watching that next buy side, minor buy side liquidity sitting right here. How many trades do you usually take per day? 2 or 3. If I go on tilt, 20, 30. Don't go on tilt. That's what I'm saying. We have an SMT of this push higher right here. ES looks more bullish. We still haven't hit the previous day PM session high, so I'm still waiting on that. I'm not going to do anything before then. I think I want it to hit that level. Tony, 100%. Oh yeah. 100%. It's very frustrating. Dov, uh, Donovan, yes, I do. Or Blaine, I do offer a mentorship. You can find it down in the description if you're interested, or you have questions on it. You can ask any questions you like. The daily affirmations will keep us sane. Is that what you're saying? 100%. The affirmations help for me. It kind of recenters me. It gets me thinking about where I'm at. It gets me to think about where I need to be. And those are all things that are important. All right, so there's our sweep of the PM session high on ES. Now let's see, and we swept a minor buy side liquidity right there. We'll see if we want to reach for previous day high, and previous day high is sitting up here. At this point, if we're still going to show this type of strength, I'm waiting for the previous day high to be tagged. You could also play that draw on liquidity. If this, for example, if this candle didn't sweep that high, but, closed right here, we would have had an inversion after sweeping some minor sell side, and we could have targeted this minor swing high and that minor buy side liquidity if we got that type of inversion. But this was an unpredictable bullish candle. You can't do anything about it. And when that happens, you just do nothing. Okay, let's go ahead and do our daily affirmation. If you want to see our my daily affirmations after the fact, or you want to download them or pull them or use them for your own affirmation adventure, you can find all of my affirmations on X on my profile there. Feel free to bookmark them, save them, share them, download them, copy them. I really don't care. So let's go ahead and do our affirmation for today. I think I need to add that. Yeah. Nope, wrong one. Here, let's do this. I do not limit my life to what I see. I live by what I believe. With God, nothing is too far, too broken, or too late. All things are possible for those who believe, and I believe. This is based on Mark 9:23. Everything is possible for one who believes. I do not limit my life to what I see or what I hear. I live by what I believe. With God, nothing is too far, too broken, or too late. All things are possible for those who believe, and I believe. Yes and amen. If you believe, give me an amen and hit the like button. Luna, how long have I been trading? There's previous day high tagged right there. Look at these just jolts in bullish price action. I don't like that. This is bullish. I think if we can get in on this run somewhere, I don't even care that it's the previous day high. We just got to be careful. I've been trading for 3 years to a little over 2 years with ICT, or using his concepts, and have been profitable for about 18 months. In that 18, since then, I've been profitable, but I've had dry spells, and that's just part of growing. When the market shifts, when the market changes, you have dry spells. You have things that you have to work through. Day trading is extremely dynamic. So you can't say, well, I was here, but now I'm here, I've regressed. It's part of the journey. And accepting that and accepting the process and the journey that you're on is very important to giving you that emotional freedom to learn and take the time needed to learn to trade. Because for most people, there are exceptions, it's significantly harder and significantly longer than most people think it should be. I was not the exception, I was the rule. It was exceptionally harder and longer than I thought. I remember on a phone call with a tax advisor telling him about this, and he's like, well, if you're not profitable, you don't want to do anything. If you are, you're going to do A, B, C, and D. And I was like, oh, I'll be profitable in 4 months. Did not happen that way. Now we're waiting for ES to also hit previous day high. You could have taken this breaker right here. That was probably an opportunity. I just wasn't willing to take it, and I was waiting for previous day high to be hit. And it was right after we got this really aggressive candle right there. So you can see the low, high, lower, low, broke, found support, and then moved towards the previous day high. That would have actually been a decent trade. The only thing that I didn't like was we only swept a little minor sell side. If we went like this, and ran that minor sell side and then did that, I would have been more interested. But it created a higher low instead of the lower low that I like to see. I believe. All right, ES is pushing through the previous day high, or tagging it right now. Oops, 15-minute time frame. We created equal highs at the previous day high. To me, that I want to see it come back for that. So any retracement, I would want to see it to come back to move higher. So meaning we could take a small long off of this order block here and see if it finds support to move higher. We could see if it wants to reach down into this fair value gap right here and move higher. Or we sit and wait to get something that's higher probable. I mean, this is an order block. You can go long on order blocks and breakers. There's my screen right there. Not doing anything yet. It's going to be 10 o'clock right now. I thought about that. That 10 a.m. pump right into the previous day high for ES. Like, maybe I should have been a part of that. Nah, it's kind of speculative. It could have just as easily gone the other way. We did have the draw on liquidity, though, so that's why I was like, there's a good probability we're going to run it. We did. $9.50. Yep, I like that. Now that ES has hit the previous day high, I'm going to see if we continue to push higher. And to be honest, 10 a.m., you're either going to get a continuation or reversal. I'm hoping that we don't get the consolidation for an hour and then the moves at 11 o'clock. So either we get, I'm hoping for one or the other. That's the other thing with when you switch contracts. Because there's still some volume on the other contract, you may have old levels that are significant on the old contract that are affecting price on the new contract. For example, the new day opening gap that you have, that you're talking about, Tony. No, a dry spell is you don't make money or you lose money. How do you overcome it? You have to backtest. You have to recommit to your rules, recommit to your process, recommit to your rules based on your risk management. You just have to find a deeper level of commitment to push through those dry spells. Eventually, you'll get out of it. And it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be a week, it could be a month. Dry spells happen. Your job when you're in the dry spells is to preserve capital. Don't go on tilt. Avoid tilting at all cost. Heartstrings, what's up? You've been here a couple times. You're a newbie as of maybe last week. Welcome. Glad you're here. I appreciate you using the code. Yeah, for you guys that the code DTJ will give you the best discounts available. All right, so look at ES not displacing through the previous day high. I'm just noting this, that now if we start seeing displacement in the other direction, I would be one to say I want to take that. Maria, good morning. It's that guy. What's up? Displacement meaning large candles moving in the opposite direction, breaking structure, violating discount fair value gaps, violating swing lows, running through bullish order blocks. That's displacement. This is not displacement. Why? Because it was aggressive inside of consolidation, but didn't continue through to confirm it. When you have this type of price action, we could get a shift in market structure or displacement, which we could see a continuation down to, let's say, a key level like this breaker sitting at this level right here, and then you could see it continue the other way. We can capitalize on a move like this. Our hope is that it's not just a retracement, but it's a continuation. If it's just a retracement, your trade, if you're looking to get a bigger move, you're going to get slapped in the face because it's going to go like that. This is why you take profit at levels like this, or at swing lows, because you don't know at times if it's just going to do one of those or if it's going to do one of these and move back the other direction. The other thing is, if you don't want to wait for the reversal, you can be a continuation trader and you can play off of this fair value gap. Say, assume that you think the drawn liquidity is higher. Well, when it comes in here, you go long, you set your stop at the swing low or at C1 of the fair value gap that was created. If we get an inversion right here, that needs to close below this fair value gap. You could take that trade to this low. But still, I would want to see more displacement. I would prefer to see something like this. This being and acting as our breaker, our bearish breaker. But price has consistently come into this level and the bodies are staying up here. So even though the bodies are staying up here, we're still around a level that we could see a reversal based on ES. Let me remove my other screen here. We're still around that previous day high on ES. We haven't displaced higher and found support at it. We're just consolidating in here. So if we're consolidating in here, I don't know if this is going to go higher or if this is just kind of following the lead of ES right now. So for me, I need more information. There was opportunity. We could have taken the trade. We could have taken a couple opportunities. We could have taken that one, that breaker. We also could have taken this order block right here at 1058 to the high because I expected it to move higher as it ran into the previous day high. But right now, I think we may see some displacement, and that's what I would like to see. If we can get that, we'll end up taking this trade, setting a stop loss for 10 to 15 handles, maybe 20, and seeing if we can get price to move in our direction. Could it not? Yes, but that's the risk you take. You wait for your model. You wait for your rules to align, and then you hit the trade button to see if you will win. And if you have a strategy that wins at least 50% of the time, you can be profitable. This trade is this idea, the breaker, it's a little more subjective because there's so many breakers that you can see. Here's a breaker right here. Here's a breaker right here. But both of these are significantly different circumstances. So if you're going to backtest breakers, or if you're going to decide, I want to trade breakers, but which breaker do you want to trade? Do you want to trade a continuation style breaker? Do you want to trade a potential reversal breaker? Do you want to trade a breaker based on it hitting a higher time frame liquidity? I do a combination of those. So that's why I don't have an exact win rate for my breakers, because I don't trade just one of them. I trade my breakers based on the liquidity that we're grabbing. Now, I am backtesting a whole bunch of other things to get the statistical data on occurrences in the market, so I can take out the subjective nature of trading and just say, oh, it hit the level. Yep, I see it here. We got this. Okay, we have all our confirmations. I'm going short, right? That's how I would do it. Here's a close below that inversion right there. Let's see if it wants to come down and hit this level. I am going to take a quick short right here. We closed also below the breaker, so I'm hoping that we push lower right here. The close of the trade will be if we close above this fair value gap. ES also closed below its fair value gap right here. Let's see if we can get some displacement here. Doesn't look like it's going to give it to us. I'm going to let my stop loss hit, and I'm not quite out. All right, I'm out. That's my first loss besides the 930 model. Reversal is not wanting, it's wanting to push higher, and it's pretty aggressive right here. We'll see if it wants to run. Maybe it will continue up there. Why did you try to short a very clear trending market? Because we were at a key level. That's why. And I was wrong. We were at a key level of a previous day high. And I was looking to get a retracement that could give us 20, 30 points. This is futures. Yeah, most likely. What is the previous day high? Buy side, yeah, so the buy side liquidity is sitting right there. $202. All right, so seeing if it wants to find support at this breaker right here for another bullish pump higher. I think I'm going to take my last trade here and I'm going to go long. If this one doesn't play out, then I'm going to be done for the day. I'm watching to see if I'm going to get in right in this fair value gap here. If we can find support in here, I may take that long. Okay, watching for it to hit this buy side liquidity on both of these charts, seeing which one hits first. Oh, shoot. Sorry, folks. If ES hits the target first, I'll be closing my trade. It'll be based on one of these targets being hit. All right, ES hit the level, so I'm closing the trade. This is why I watch both of them, because if ES hits the level, hits that key level, we could see a bigger retracement than I'd want to be in. Does that make sense? So that's why we're looking at both of them. If I would have preferred NQ to hit it because that's what I was trading on, and it still could hit that, but it's going to be after a potential retracement. And I just don't want to sit in those types of retracements, especially when you're on a bullish trend and you're already in premium. Well, I would have been stopped out just about there, Noah. That's why I closed it. Because if we're going to get a retracement, it's when we hit a level like that. This is why I went short. This is why I went short here. Because we hit a key level on ES that I felt could send the market lower. And we did. We got this, but it just happened to be the end of the move. I wanted it to come down to here towards this fair value gap sitting right down here, and I wanted to get in towards that fair value gap before the continuation higher. That was the idea. Yeah, I don't like red. It messes with my head. You could take this inversion right here if you want for a small little pump. If it closes without running that high, I doubt it's going to give it to us. That would be more speculation. If you were going to take the trade, you should have taken it down by the breaker. So it didn't close through that level. E-mini is a different contract, Billy. So ESU is a contract for the S&P 500. NQU is the contract for the Nasdaq. If we leave this level, I would be interested. More than likely it's going to be later in the day, but it to come down, run these equal lows, and then pump back higher. Yes, you need to trade the micros until you are very confident that you can handle the high volatility and the size. For one contract, just $20 for 1 point. And for example, this contract is from 22,190 to 177. That's 13 handles. That's $260. And that happened in less than a minute. What we use and how we handle this is the white screen you see is the Nasdaq. This is the mini contracts. This is where all the volume is at. And then we do our executions on this screen here, on the black screen, which is the micro contracts. So we want to execute on the micros, but do our analysis on the minis. If you guys are appreciating the commentary, the transparency, the lack of language, hit the like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. All right, so it looks like, nope, it doesn't. We didn't hit that. We're already coming back up for another pump higher. I will tell you that the weakest part of my trading, for anybody that's wondering, it's trending days. And it will not stay that way. I will get much better at it. Indices are the futures. Billy, there's just different futures types of contracts. You got the indices, you got commodities, and you have metals. Those typically, in oil. Those are, or energy, indices, commodities, and metals. So you can trade in any of those, and that's considered futures. It's just, it all depends on what asset you want to trade. If you're really in tune with oil, then you should be trading oil. If you're in tune with gold, then you should be trading gold. I cut my teeth on the Nasdaq, and so that's what I trade with. You know what? The best answer, Shane, is to assume it's going to keep going. Because if you try to catch the top, you can get burned. And that's exactly what happened on me on that first breaker to the downside. Is I thought that we might get a retracement from that key level, and we didn't. We continued to go higher. So the way you approach these is something that I'm still learning. When it comes to identifying trend days, the identification of the trend day was basically based on how we handled it. Today, I would say I did pretty decent. We took a short here, high, low, higher, high. We thought this was the breaker and inversion to the downside. So I took my entry right here. We went boom, boom, boom aggressively. I was out somewhere around here. When we closed on this candle, I said if we find support in this fair value gap, I want to move higher. So it came down into this fair value gap, found support on these two candles. The bodies did not close inside of here, and that was indicating to me that this is still really bullish. So that is where I switched from going short to going long. Now, unfortunately, we were so close to the target that I ended up getting out because ES hit its target right here. And you can even see that it's been around the target since we got out of the trade and is just now breaking higher. So we switched directions, and that's okay because we saw a key level be violated on ES. We got slapped in the face, but we turned around, took the trade, and I basically just about made my losses back on this long. Unfortunately, it did not give us the move on NQ like it did on ES towards the high. So my profits were a little muted compared to if I would have taken it on ES in this case. My concern is that we hit this level right here and we could get a retracement. This level is a minor buy-side liquidity. Or actually, it's a major. That's a long-term swing high. If you look at the 4-hour, that's a long-term swing high right there. So that's a major level. If we continue higher from here, in my opinion, it's going to be after some type of retracement. We could get another pump higher, but we will get some type of limited potential retracement, if not a reversal, from this point here. David, yes. Davidson. We did. We took one loss. We took one win. Our win just about covered our losses from the first trade. All right, so what we've seen so far is it has found support at every order block, and this would be another order block. So now we're watching. You're either watching this or taking a long right here. You're either watching it to see it violated or you're taking a long right now if you think you're still bullish. I'm wanting to see it violated for a continuation or for the retracement lower at this point. I think I'm going to take that, see if it can get a little aggressive to these lows down here. I took half size. I didn't take a full position here. And what I'm watching is if we close above that order, that fair value gap that I just marked there, I'm going to close the trade. So risk is relatively small for a 20 handle move. I want small risk for a potential liquidity run. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Don't like that green candle. That's unfortunate. We may be more bullish than I'm thinking. Like I've said, trading in trending days is the hardest thing for me because I'm looking for a trade that's contrary to a potential trend. Because that's just how I learned to trade. And that's what happens if I'm in a trade when we're trending higher. I'm hoping that we get some type of displacement. We got the displacement I wanted. It's just if we close back above this fair value gap, I got to get out. So I've identified we're in a potential trend day. And it looks like we're going to close above it here, which I'm getting ready to close my position. All right, I'm going to close that position. And accept that I'm wrong. This is by far the one area in my trading that I want to improve on because trend days are very difficult for me to trade. You see that? It's not even, it's coming right back in my direction. So, a little disappointing, but I think I'm probably going to call it quits on or close my accounts here because I've already taken my trades that, or the number of trades that I want to, and I don't want to overtrade. So I'll probably close these accounts and maybe open a personal account, or not open, but open my current personal account and take one trade on that account before I close up shop for the day. Man, I'm hot. All right, I have my personal account open. There's, as you can see, my personal account with no trades currently. We'll see if anything shows up here. We're about at the 11 a.m. macro, so hopefully we get something here. Maybe we'll take a long. Sometimes on these trend days, though, Tony, is that when we get that 15-minute reversal candle, the move on a trend day is the 15-minute candle is the retracement trade before it moves higher. That's all right. What I need to do is I need to go back and I just need to back test, find trend days, identify them, and put together something and look at the patterns that I'm seeing the most common, and then back test it. What's my daily bias? What's your daily bias? What's your daily bias? Bias right now is we are bullish, but I'm looking for a retracement since we've ran into a 4-hour swing high, a major swing high, and now just waiting to see if we're going to get displacement. What? What's on? Will you turn it off for me, please? Thank you. Jody, yes. Hands down, the best thing to get is TradeZilla. Their backtesting platform is so quick and efficient. It's been worth every penny. And I think I paid $400 for the entire year. Yeah, I saw that, Ted. Now, what I see here is a failure swing. This is a failure swing on NQ. Same with ES. If we can get a inversion right here, to me that looks more attractive. And this will be my final trade. And if I'm wrong on this one on a trend day, I have a lot of work to do. But you can see this low resistance liquidity, these swing lows forming right here. I like this. And I would be willing to take that, considering we're also in the 11 a.m. macro. You're on 50K PA account on which platform? Ricardo. So your job is either to lose the money or to continue to make money and not take a payout. My personal preference would be to make money and not lose that money. Get denied on your first payout, make $500 during your second payout phase, request only $500, and then once you do another 8 days, you should be able to withdraw more money. But I wouldn't intentionally lose money because of that. That's messing with your psychology. That's what they want you to do, and it can get worse. Stick with your psychology. Stick with the process. Just go smaller size, or don't do as big of contracts, and then just continue to make money. Keep your psychology on making money slowly over time, and you might get denials, which is fine. But when you make your next request, make your request not for a large amount. Make it the smallest amount you can request based on what you made during that period of time. You know, the other thing is on trend days, it might be better for me to come back in the PM session, which the PM session you're going to get typically your end of day reversal. This is why I'm no. No, John, it's just something that I have not mastered yet. I think ICT is fine. And that's the area of my trading that I personally want to get better on. Either I need to get better at identifying when the reversal should happen, or being able to change my bias when, because I've just traded so much on playing the reversals and the tracements that if you're looking to play continuations, I can tell you what to look for. I haven't developed that muscle yet for me to be able to trade them. And that muscle is developed through backtesting. I don't backtest trend days. I just haven't. Now, if it's clear we got a nice a manipulation move for a continuation higher, I can trade those. But it's when we're trending, when we're in the current trend. Like this, I could trade. This right here would have been very easy for me to trade if it did not happen basically right at the opening bell. I would have easily been able to capitalize on something like this. Why? Because we manipulated below a key level, below levels, and then we moved higher. But we did it right at open. So I'm not going to take that trade right at open. So when we're talking about continuation and potential trend days, it's not down here that I have the issue. It's when we're in the middle of this, when we've hit key levels. Because I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to trade lower when we haven't hit something that's of significance. I think we have. And I think we move lower. But if we are really in a trend day, we get what you just saw here multiple times. We get the confirmation, lower time frame confirmation of price moving this direction, and then it just kind of pushes back up higher. And we also received our 5-minute change in state of delivery right here. So this right here is my confirmation that we're moving this direction. That's what I'm looking for. It's giving it to me. Like, I want to take this short so bad. But I've been talking about trend days that now I'm thinking we could be trending. All right, so we're going to have a 30-minute sweep right here. We swept that high, which is an opportunity to look for a 3-minute entry. And there's nothing here. So can't do anything about that. Yeah, this looks good for a short. Not taking anything yet. Looking for a fair value gap in here for price to give me some displacement and come back up into. But if we're not going to do that and it's just going to do this while sweeping this low, maybe it wants to go higher. So we just need more. ES also swept the low and closed back inside the range. So right now, more consolidation if it stays inside this range. I'm backtesting it right now. The last backtesting session I did, it's embarrassing, but when I did all my backtesting, I was on the wrong time frame, meaning I was on Chicago time, not New York time. So all my data for the 30-minute reversal was for 11 and 11:30 in the morning, and those levels came out amazing. Came out with like a 60 to 70% win rate when you get the when the rules show up on the chart. So it works when you see it at those times. I thought I was doing 10 o'clock and I wasn't. So I have to redo that. The same goes for the 9:30, the 9:30 pump, and 9:31, 9:32. It was for 10:30, 10:31, and 10:32. I just found that out on like Saturday, and I have to back test that, or I'm going to be updating that on all my inside the Discord and redo a whole bunch of back testing. Because every time I back test an entire year of data. Typically, it's 2023 to 2024. And I back test every single trading day in that time. So just to back test the 30-minute reversal, I'm going through 200 trading days. to see if that model shows up. And then if I want to do it for the 30-minute reversal on the at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, I have to go through 200 days every single time. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It just takes way longer than you would want. And most people aren't willing to put in that work. It's why most people aren't profitable. Even today, even in the two losses that I had on this trend, 2 losses, 1 win. Honestly can't remember. I've closed my accounts because I don't want to go, 2 things. Don't want to go on tilt, and I don't want to overtrade, and I don't want to have a larger loss than I can't make up in the following day. So I close it. I got to manage my risk appropriately. Oh, that looks nice. 2-minute order block was tagged right there. I think I'm going to take this right here. No, I'm not. I'm not going to be manipulated by that one candle. I really like that candle, though. Hopefully it gives us a 3-minute. No. No. I love that wick, though. That's a great indication. Main reason why I said no to that is because look where the candle stopped. It stopped inside of this range. Inside of the previous leg that gave the push higher, it literally stopped right at there. And inside this consolidation. So it was an aggressive candle, but it was inside of all of this. So if this candle was here, I would have been like, oh boy, that looks really good. But it was inside of all of this consolidation, and that next candle just basically went right back up against it. So again, still we don't want to do anything yet. Let's see if we have a 30-minute on ES. 30-minute reversal is there. Let's look at the 3-minute. We don't have a 3-minute fair value gap yet. So if ES gives us a 3-minute fair value gap, let's say right there, and we come up into it, that would be our short. ES just looks better. I may take this on ES. For confirmation, if we can get this 15-minute fair value gap to close below this candle right here that swept the high, that would be the change in state of delivery. A 5-minute would have been here, and we still haven't closed on the 5-minute below. So still no opportunity. And I just don't like the way the Nasdaq looks. Yeah, the way ES and the way NQ looks, they're so completely different. All right, well, I'm going to, guys, I'm going to call it a day. I think there's nothing that I'm really liking, and wisdom says to wait till the PM session. So I'm going to be closing down my accounts and not trade anymore for at least this AM session. Nothing really standing out to me. I'm going to let it do its thing and hopefully give us some more structure and give some clarity on if we miss a move, we miss a move. There'll be one tomorrow. But this is part of your trading discipline that has to be mastered, is your ability to walk away. Your ability to close the charts and say, all right, I'm going to wait until something formulates better at another time. And then when my model shows up then I have the gunpowder and the emotional energy to attempt to take those trades. So that's what we're going to do here this morning. I'll be back here tomorrow morning if you want to hang out with us at 9:15 New York Standard Time. Use the code DTJ if you're interested in hanging out with us. Reach out on X or check out the links in the Discord, or for the Discord down in the description. God bless, guys. Stay safe, and we will see you all tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.